Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Now this one's a little bit different. I'm going to be breaking down how I profit on the Steam community market. This video is a little bit different because there's no sponsor and I'm going to be giving you the pure information. I originally created a very complicated video about this. It was about 13 minutes long and I spent a lot of time on it, but I eventually scrapped it because honestly I think this format would work so much better. I'm going to be giving you two examples of what I'm talking about and then honestly just showing you what I look for and how you can do this method yourself the next time it comes around. So starting off with example number one, we're heading on over to the Stockholm Dust 2 souvenir package. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this peak right here. This peak was caused because they said Dust 2 would not be occurring in the next CSGO Major, and therefore all of the prices shot up for the Dust 2 souvenir packages, or at least the new ones. But the thing is, this price right here, or this graph on Buff, is going to be at different times than this graph right here, and that's exactly what we're going to be exploiting when we're making our profit. So what I did is I was buying these packages off Buff for around 20 Chinese yen. 20 Chinese yen is around $2.93, and that's a cash price. But the thing is, we're buying it for 20 yen here, and we're going ahead and selling it on the Steam community market for an increased price. Now the thing is, you do have to be smart when you do this. The biggest thing is making sure you have balance on these sites. It's not going to be the easiest thing to get, but once you get a little bit, you can keep the cycle going. But basically what I was doing is I was buying these products on Buff for a super cheap price. The price I bought it for was $3 cash, and I was immediately selling it on the Steam community market. And as you can see here, I was making a significant amount of money. Now I usually don't do a ton of these because once you start getting a ton of them, it starts to go up in price pretty quickly, especially if you're not one of the first people to be buying the packages off Buff or another third-party site we'll get to in just a quick minute. But basically you can see the price over here is the amount of money I got in Steam funds. This is after Steam tax, so these ones I got about $5.70, $5.50, and then I got about $6 for these ones and a couple others. So it's very important that you immediately sell, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're going to be holding on to a lot of risk, and honestly, that's not what the method of profiting is about. The method of profiting here is making sure you can get these products moved over from the Buff sellers to the Steam community market, because usually Buff is going to be one of the quickest ways. If you're looking for the quickest peer-to-peer site for this example, it's most likely going to be Buff. Now, the second example is involving this case right here, the wildfire case. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with this spike as well. You can see it right here. It looks a little toned down. This is the actual spike. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry. It's from an older video, but basically this spike basically doubled the price of the wildfire case. Now this example is a little bit different because I had wildfire cases prior to it doubling, and I'm going to use that method to make sure I'm making profit that way instead of being able to just buy off a third-party site and sell on Steam, which is a method that works here. It definitely works, but the thing is, I like to take advantage of getting balance for free on other sites rather than getting balance for free on Steam, because it's a little bit harder to do in my opinion. So what I did is I was taking these cases I had in my inventory and immediately selling them on Buff. As you can see here, I was selling them for about 4.58 Chinese yen. Some of them I was selling though a little bit more expensive, almost 6 Chinese yen, which we're getting into the territory of this almost being $1, which is absolutely crazy because that's cash value that we're getting for these cases. You can see here 6.43 is nearly $1. And then what I was doing is I was waiting for the case to tone down a little bit because I would go ahead and I was just immediately buying these. You can see from the screenshot here, I was buying up a lot of these cases for around 60-ish cents on Steam, because the thing is, I don't want to hold the risk of making sure that this case doesn't somehow go up to $2 and then I'm out of luck because I just sold at $1. It's very unlikely, but it is possible, and therefore that's what we're trying to avoid. This is the most risk-free way to get profit. Now this example, I also utilized a little bit of a glitch in my opinion. It's just basically using the exploit of North America being awake and Europe being asleep, because the thing is, on Skin Baron, I was able to buy a ton of these cases for 0.53 euro a piece, a ton of these wildfire cases. And I want you to remember, I was just selling off a ton of these for much higher than that, 6.43 Chinese yen. You can see the conversion on screen. I was making a ton of profit every single case I was doing this for, and it goes on for pages and pages and pages in my notes, a lot of them for 6.33. But the thing is, because most people in Europe were asleep when this happened, I was able to go on Skin Baron, which is a primarily European-based site, and other than having to pay the foreign fees because I used the wrong card, I basically got these for 0.53 euro a piece. I really hope you understand what I'm getting at here with the wildfire case and what we were talking about with the Stockholm Dust 2 souvenir package, because there's so much profit to be made if you're there within like 15-20 minutes. Honestly, you don't have to be the first person there with this method, but just know that the profit drops off pretty significantly because you're going to have to keep on buying these for a more expensive price. If we want to head to my buff history and towards the front, you can see here that I was buying them for 20 Chinese yen originally. These are the Stockholm Dust 2 souvenir packages. Then it went up to 20.4 just a couple minutes later. And the thing is, it kept on going up until it eventually reaches a very similar price point that we end up seeing for the Steam market. Now the thing is, you will have some sellers back out on you. As you can see here, I have 2 refunds. That's because some people are aware that you're buying up a ton of their stock for some reason. They'll go check it out and they'll realize it's not a great idea for you to send it over, which is kind of why Skin Baron is one place I always check. Problem is, I have buff money and I don't want to keep on inputting new money, because when you take out that money, you usually end up having to pay taxes, or at least that's how it is in America. So it's a little bit of a confusing and annoying process. So basically, I always try to go for buff because it's much easier to just do it here, but not everyone has access to buff. Now, it's very possible some people are going to complain that buff money sucks, and there's definitely a very valid argument there. It's a pain to get out because usually you have to end up selling to some third-party person like this, and you can see here, it's just not the greatest trend. But the thing is, you are able to get out a decent amount of buff money through just kind of little things that you'll pick up. The biggest one I want to point out here is the Rio Dust 2 souvenir package. This is currently how I'm getting some of my buff money out. You can see here, it's selling for $2.60 USD. We head over to D Market, and as you can see here, I've just been selling a couple of them, but you can see I made $2.81 here, $2.81 here, $2.76 here, $2.76 here, and I believe the instant sell price for these is roughly sitting at around $2.60 on D Market. So the thing is, there's definitely so many ways to get your money out, and the thing is, I've got some listed up for sale on D Market right now. You can see here that I am going to be getting a decent amount of money back. I'm listing them for $2.99. This is a little bit higher than what I had before because I want to see if they end up selling at that price point, but you can see if I head to my sold items, you can see just how many that I have sold for that price. I haven't sold a ton of them, but the thing is, if you keep doing it in slight moderation, you're able to turn a profit. And the other thing I want to point out is with their instant sell feature, sometimes you're able to find little margins as well. This is something I did with the Operation Wildfire case back in August though. This case was sitting at around 50 to 60 cents on the Steam market, and I was able to cash them out for 54 cents straight cash for me on D Market as well. So I was able to basically get a 1-to-1 Steam market to actual cash ratio at a very small scale. It's not going to be applicable if you got $2,000 you want to get out instantly, but it is going to be something that you can slowly work over time. You can see I've got $100 sitting up here, and I just cashed out around $100 not too long ago. So there's definitely a margin there, but you got to work for it. You got to find it. It's not going to fall just directly into your lap, and you got to be using a ton of sites if you want to make sure that you're getting the most for your money and getting out that margin. But that's pretty much all I have for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.